good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Welcome to another episode of Life with Shenita. I am so excited that you all are joining us, and I'm equally as excited to have five amazing, phenomenal women to share the platform with me tonight. This is Women's History Month. It is Women's International Month. And so we are celebrating women each week. And so, God placed on my heart each week which women to invite. And so these women tonight are living out their purpose. And so we want to celebrate them, and we want to pray God's strength that He continues to guide them on this journey called life as they live out their destiny. So before I bring them in, I want to just share just a little bit about purpose and women. And so with that being said, each week I try to do a little homework, and I want to just share a few things that I found. One, it says the dictionary defines a woman as an adult female human being, while purpose is our reason for being and for what we do. It is why we are here on earth. Each one of us has a unique purpose in life, and it is up to us to discover our purpose and to fulfill it. Another something that I found, and I want to share that as well. Women sometimes wonder, who am I? Why am I here? While society emphasizes wealth, success, and the pursuit of pleasure, the truth is that we are created by God in His image, and our fulfillment is found in pursuing His purposes for us. And so when my mother passed away in 2001 is when I really started seeking God for purpose and wondering, why am I here? What is that purpose that you have for me? Because I realized at that time that death was inevitable. And so before I took my last breath, I wanted to make sure that I am living a purposeful life. And so purpose is very important. And these five women are truly living out their purpose. And they're going to share with us this evening what that purpose is as they continue their journey. And so I'm hoping that it will inspire you to dig deeper if you have not found your purpose, and it will inspire you to get on that path to seeking what that is for you. So with that being said, I am going to invite the ladies in, and they will introduce themselves to us this evening. So please join me as I welcome Miss Twin Spirit. Good evening.
Hello. I'm so excited to be here with you this evening.
Thank you. I'm so honored that you said yes.
Yes. Well, I wanted to take a second to just introduce myself to everyone. I am Twin Spirit. I am the founder and director of Art House Alive. And in essence, everything that I do, from me working as a consultant, from me working as an artist, is to inspire others to tap into the core of who they are so that they can live the best life that they desire for themselves. So in essence, my goal, my mission, my purpose is inspiration.
Awesome. And you do that well. So thank you for being here and being a light from the day we met.
Beautiful. Glad to be here.
Yes. And next we have LB, the wife coach. Good evening.
Good evening, Shenita. Hey, Twin Spirit. I'm
Hey,
so
LB.
excited. Like, Shenita, we go way back.
Yes.
We go way back.
Yes.
For your audience, my name is Lakia Brandenburg, but I go by LB. I am the wife coach. I've been married to my boo, my baby daddy, Derek, for 11 years. And although I've been married 11 years, I wasn't always a wife. I need y'all to hear that, right? So I created the only online masterclass that's changing married women into happy, fun, and irresistible wives. I am a firm believer that all married women aren't wives. And when you know the difference, you can be the difference and show up as the difference. And you'll see that in your marriage. So I'm super excited to be here again. And just thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to do so.
Yes, I was so tickled pink that my niece has been in one of your classes. I was like, oh my goodness.
Small world.
Yes, yes, yes. So thank you for all you do for marriages, because you know I'm a marriage champion.
No, that's how we
Yes.
met.
Yes, so thank you.
Yes.
Next up, we have Miss Octavia Mcnair.
Woo! Hello, hello, Shenita.
Hello, hello, hello.
How are you?
I am wonderful. How are you this evening?
I am awesome.
Awesome. So introduce yourself to the world, your wonderfulness.
Awesome. Well, hey everyone. Thank you, Shenita, for allowing me to be here. This is amazing. I am Octavia Mcnair, and I am a real estate broker. I have been in the real estate business for 21 years now. So I have a hugely successful real estate career, and I am super excited about it. I'm still passionate about it, even after 21 years. So I broker real estate transactions between buyers and sellers, and it is awesome. I am also a first lady. Yes, shout out to my hubby,
Yes,
Pastor
you are.
Theo A. McNair.
Yes, yes.
So I am a ministry leader, so I love to encourage and exhort and to build others up. So I thank God for being here today.
And we met when I moved to Atlanta in my first apartment, The Advantages in College Park. That's how we met in 1996, 1997. And so it's just so exciting to just reconnect with you over the years and watch you and your business. So thank you for being who you are as well.
Awesome. And you know, the funny thing, Shenita, I was thinking about, I wasn't even married then. I've been married 17 years now.
Exactly.
So that's crazy.
Exactly. And I remember when you were dating him.
Yes. Oh my God. Well, I'm
Yes.
glad you're still here.
Yes, I am too. So next up we have I'm sorry, Miss Tange. You're gonna have to help me with that last name. I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to help me pronounce that last name. I do not want to botch it up. So Tange English.
Yeah, Tangi English Amuzagan.
Amuzagan. There we go. Amuza. I could say that.
Yes, you can say
Amuzagan. Yes.
being phonetically written phonetically, so I think you can say that.
Muzagan. Yes, I got it. Thank you.
But who says and say, oh yeah, I can do that. They just get scared when they see all those letters and they look different and all that.
Yes.
Well, I am glad to be here. This is my first time doing something like this. So, and thank you, Shenita, for inviting me.
Yes.
I am a career educator. I'm going into my 19th year in the public school system. I started out as a Girl Scout executive person and went into teaching kids, and I've been doing that for several years in elementary school, high school for 6 years, and now I'm in middle school, and it's been a different thing. I work with I consult with adults trying to get certified to be teachers. And I also work with parents who have children that suffer with possibly having a disability. So I work with them to try to find interventions and specialized instruction that might be able to help and support their kids, is what I do. I have been married probably for 2.5 years. For the first time at 50 years old, I got married to a wonderful man. And I have an identical twin sister that lives in this world. So
Yes.
I am, and I'm from Pensacola, Florida, and that's how I know Shenita.
Yes, yes. My homegirl. Yes.
I am glad to be here.
Thank you so much for saying yes.
Yes.
And I'm glad you're here as well.
Yes.
And last but certainly not least, Miss Tomiko Lowry Pugh. Welcome.
Hey everyone. I'm so excited to be here this evening. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
All right, I make sure I'm not on mute. But as Shenita said, I'm Tomiko Lowry Pugh. Most people know me as the Empowering Diva.
Yes.
And I am the CEO of Living the Empowered Life LLC, where I help women live an empowered life in life and in business. My programs, our courses, our events help women who have inspirational stories of overcoming life's adversities use their experience and those stories to create transformational businesses that make money and make a difference. I really believe that our stories have the power to heal other people, that we're put on this earth to clearly make a difference. But I want to teach you how to make money and make a difference. And we do that through Living the Empowered Life Academy. I'm also the host of Living the Empowered Life podcast, and the founder of the Still Standing Alliance, where we focus on domestic violence advocacy, awareness, and prevention. And that is how I got my start. I'll share a little bit of that once we dive into the conversation. But as a survivor of domestic violence, I was able to use my story and my experience to impact the lives of other people. And so I want to help other women to do the same thing with their stories.
Awesome. Tomiko, actually, I got my certification as a life coach under her, as well as published my 2 books under her. And so it's just been a wonderful journey. I knew her husband before I knew her and was so excited when he met her. And Winston and I got a chance to meet both of them, before he passed away. And we were just tickled pink to celebrate their first anniversary. Was it the first anniversary at the Black Marriage Day event?
That was our first year anniversary. Yes.
Yeah. So it's just grateful to know each and every one of you amazing women. And I want to say maybe most of you may be authors. I'm not sure, but I know there are some authors in this group. So I'm excited. And so let's start with our first question that we have. And what we'll do is just go around and I will call on someone and please answer this question. So how did you end up on this path of purpose in your life? How did you end up in that place? And I would like to start with LB. How did you end up on this path? Unmute. I'm sorry. There we go.
All right, here we go. No, so it's funny that you asked that because I did not know I would be the wife coach. I often say my purpose, I kind of found me. Tangi, I was actually a classroom teacher. I taught middle school language arts for 5 years, and I thought that I was going to be in that career for 30 years. I was going to, retire as in leadership, but there was something unsettling in me that let me know that this was not it. I often had girlfriends who wanted to know my story about how my husband and I got together. And so I wrote my first book, Picture Perfect, which basically tells my imperfect love story about how we got together and created our marriage to what it is today. And from there, that road started started expanding. Who knew that my purpose would be to now change married women into wives? Because I once was a married woman and I had to become a wife. So that purpose found me. It was not something that I thought that I needed to find.
Awesome. And I'm telling you, you are truly changing lives, one wife at a time. So thank you for that. Yes. So next up, Twin Spirit.
Okay. And you know what? I think it's going to probably be very similar between all of us is that you always have a plan, but life often has a different plan for you. So the reality of it is that I ended up on this path, honestly, through ups and downs, failures, successes. All of my life experiences have all transcended and catapulted and ended me here. So I firmly believe that I ended up on this path of purpose on purpose because it's part of my mission. And I didn't know it until I knew it. So just life experiences, meeting different people, learning different things, growing, healing. Healing, I would say, was the biggest thing that got me on this path of inspiration. We've all had some challenging times in life. And for me, those challenges forced me to go inward. And inside of myself is where I discovered that everything that I need to have everything that I want lived within me. And that inspired me to want to share that same message and mission with every soul that I came in contact with, especially women. So my life, my experiences are what led me here. And I'm so excited to be here.
Yes. And I'm just so glad I met you. I hosted my first book signing at Art House Alive.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, and when I met Twin, I met her through Facebook. I love Facebook connections. I don't care what anyone says. It's amazing the connections you can make. And I think it was on maybe an artist. I'm trying to remember her name. I can't remember her name, but anyway, it was a post that she had, and you were friends with her. And maybe it was Tomiko Adams. It might have been her first, and
That's
then
probably who it was. Yeah.
so we made a connection, net, and just instantly connected in terms of just bonding. And so my book signing was there, and she's been a light since that day. So thank you for being who you are, true to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Next, Tangi, share with us, how did you end up in this place of purpose?
Girl Scouts. And I remember, I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Start over. Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And remember, I mentioned in my 20s, I started working with the Girl Scouts. And I remember one of my territories was Tuskegee, where I graduated from college. And I remember us being able to take some kids, some girls over to Texas. And that experience catapulted my whole career in education, because some of those girls had never left Alabama. They never left, left Montgomery, that particular area. And it's like, what could I do if I open the world to other kids through one way or another? Those kids that happen to be able to get on a plane and fly across the country, but I could do it every day. So that's what started it all. It's been a good journey. I have gone from elementary to high school, and high school was really eye-opening for me, and that's what made me start my whole business, because I want to help boys especially move into their destiny. So that's really what started my whole journey.
And now you are not only teaching them, but you're also teaching and coaching parents.
Yes, coaching parents. We have a lot of students who have concerns. Parents have concerns with them, and I found that a lot of parents are, sometimes we have an adversarial relationship with the school, and I want to help bridge gaps. I want to help bridge it, because nobody comes to work every day and want to just antagonize a student. So I want people to know what's really going on in the schools, the big picture, what's the business of education, because I think parents they are not aware what the business of education is. And I think that the more they know, the more educated they'll be and more involved they will be, because that's the biggest concern that we have, because parents just don't know. They just don't know the business of education and what's really going on. So that's my purpose, to try to teach.
Mm-hmm. I love it. And I know special education is one of the areas that you focus on, parents with children who have special needs, making sure that they understand what's available to them in the state of Georgia, what benefits.
Yes, and kids who have special needs, but the parents they don't agree that the child has a special need. Sometimes that becomes part of the issue. Parents don't agree or accept what's going on with their child, and they don't understand even that process. So just to talk with them, to help them through that process. No, I think so. No, I think it's this. Because sometimes they just don't know. They just really don't know. So they have somebody who's kind of a median, somebody on the outside that can kind of look in and know how the school works. It's very helpful, because a lot of times they don't know how the school works. So I think it will be, that's how I work.
Right. Awesome. Well, I appreciate the efforts to help educate not only the students, but the parents, and hopefully the children will have a more successful experience in education and in their life, period.
Yes.
So teachers, I absolutely applaud you guys, because you get paid the least, but you inspire the most, to me, because everybody feeds off of a teacher.
Yes.
Every career, everything we do feeds off of a teacher. So thank you. Last, I want to say, and you guys help me along. If I left somebody out, you make sure you say something to me. I know we have Miss Tomiko Pugh. If you would share, how did you get on this path of purpose? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, can you all hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay, okay. No, I was just saying, very similar to most of the other ladies. I believe that the adversities that we experience in life, they're meant to prepare us and to push us into our purpose. And so I always go back to Romans 8:28. All things work together for the good of them who love the Lord and who are called according to his purpose, right? And it says all things, not some things and not the things that we want it to be, but all things work together. Mm-hmm. And then it says who have been called according to his purpose. And so he calls us. And oftentimes it's those adversities, those things that we've gone through that we don't even realize is going to push us into our purpose. And so for me, after escaping an abusive relationship, mentally, verbally, financially, and physically abusive, and I say escape because I escaped and almost didn't make it out alive. So I'm very grateful to be here. But being able to escape that, I hit rock bottom. Financially, I didn't have anything. Emotionally, I was broken, and financially, I was broke. But I had no idea that years later that something so painful, something so traumatic, excuse me, will push me into my life purpose, right? I had no idea that I would launch my own nonprofit organization helping other victims of domestic violence. Like I had no idea that I would run a successful business teaching other women who are survivors of just life's adversities on how to use those stories to impact the world. Like I had no idea that I would be doing some of the things that I'm doing today. And so I'm grateful. And that's how I ended up on this path of purpose.
Yeah. And you are truly, truly blessing people. I mean, I've seen it in action in your Still Standing Foundation with the women who've been abused. I've seen it at the state capitol where you've helped change laws. I've seen it in every aspect of your life. So you are truly an inspiration to me in so many ways. And so I'm grateful for you being obedient, because a lot of times we're called and sometimes we don't obey.
That's
and
true.
So when we're called to do something, we need to follow through, regardless to how difficult and how painful it might be. So thank you for answering the call. Yeah. Last but certainly not least, Miss Octavia Mcnair, would you share with us, how did you end up on this path of purpose?
Well, hi again, everyone. So what happened with me, I was working in corporate America and just kind of with the Coca-Cola company. And so my plan was to, hey, I'm going to let them pay for my education. I'm just going to move up the ranks here at Coke. I was working at the corporate headquarters downtown in project management. So I loved the job that I was doing, but just circumstances and other things that I was dealing with, it just kind of catapulted me and pushed me in a completely different direction. And so when Coke came up and decided they were going to lay me off, that just kind of messed up my plan. And I had already decided, a friend of mine had said, well, hey, I feel like you should maybe do real estate. And I'm thinking, I don't want to do real estate. Why would I want to do that? No, I'm a corporate girl. I don't want to do real estate. And but in the process of building my first home, and that's just kind of how the Lord set it up. I was building my first home and I had all these questions and all these issues and all these problems and stuff with the credit. And it was just one thing after another. And I'm like, hey, wait a minute, I think I should be doing this.
Right.
And it's just kind of like, let me just go. I went ahead and registered for school. I didn't even want to spend the money for school. It was about probably $600 at the time. And I was just like, oh my God, $600. I can't spend that.
It was a lot of money, right?
Yes. And it just stressed myself completely out. But, in the middle of my home being under contract and they're constructing that home, that was when I lost my job at Coke. And I said, you know what? I had just finished real estate school. I said, hey, this is it. Like, I'm just going to get out here and let's see what happened. And it has been an amazing journey.
Yes.
It really has.
and every time I watch you post a luxury home and all of, and I'm thinking that's the best $600 investment you ever made, I bet.
And I couldn't see it, you know, at
Right.
the time. I just could not see it. It was just so overwhelming for me because it wasn't what I wanted to do.
Right.
It really wasn't. And then and I thought, you know, even at that time, being young, kind of in ministry, starting to work in ministry, I was thinking it just goes hand in hand because you're still serving and being able to pour something into someone else. So it's pretty
Awesome.
incredible.
That's awesome. I'm just loving what you all do in your own unique way. It is such a blessing. And so as we move along in our conversation, I have a question, and I think I have two questions, and I'm going to make them one. So the next question is, what has sustained you in your business, even mentally and personally, during COVID? And how has, you know, you being focused on your purpose affected your relationships, whether it be husband, friends, family? What has sustained you, you know? And then how has that living life or purpose driven life affected relationships, i.e. husband, friends, family members, etc.? So let's start out with you, LB.
I'm unmuted. All right. One thing I said about 2020, as we all know, the pandemic was not something that we prepared for. I often tell my wives, I know this pandemic wasn't on your vision board, but I can guarantee that it's giving you vision. When it comes to what has sustained me, I think it's been my genuine love for what I do. It's my genuine love to transform lives. It's my genuine love to see couples happy, to see them healthy, to see them at one point where they didn't know what communication was, to where now they are effectively communicating and vibing with each other. For me personally, I had to pivot. I wasn't so focused on my purpose during the pandemic because other dynamics of my life were affected. My mother, on April 1st, was hospitalized for COVID. She fought for 30 days and she passed away on May 1st. So my whole purpose was pivoting. My marriage was affected by it because now grief, I was thrown on this grief journey. So it's like, you know, when it comes to purpose, I had to really figure out, what does all of this mean? I remember one of the ladies saying this, what does all of this mean? I think it was you, Shenita, when your mother passed. What does all of this mean? And so I had to take a step back. It actually allowed myself, my sister, you know, my girls, us to get closer. But my marriage did take a hit because I wanted to take my hands off of everything. Even though I had a genuine love to help other people, this grief thing, you know, grief.
I do.
It was something I had to really understand and kind of pivot my purpose on, okay, now what I'm supposed to get out of this. So yeah, it affected my relationships as far as those who were for LB. I saw them in my corner. Some relationships, I was surprised that they weren't as strong as I thought they were, but it's okay. I'm in a totally different space, a totally different purpose or element of purpose in my life. And it's just me trying to navigate it.
And I'm so glad that, you know, when you talk about grief, it can just take you totally out the game. And I'm glad your husband was there, even though you were disconnected to a certain degree, and he was there to support you.
Yes.
So we're grateful for that, you know, because we have to understand it can take you out, down and out. So
absolutely.
Yes, I'm glad you pivoted and that you're back. Yes. So thank you. So next, Octavia, will you share with us what has sustained you on this journey, this purposeful journey, particularly during COVID, and how has, you know, staying focused on your purpose affected relationships, other relationships, your husband, your friends, business relationships, any of those aspects?
I'll say for me, definitely just kind of determination, that faith and perseverance. And one of the big things that took place in 2020 was we lost my mother-in-law. and which was very, very traumatic, very impactful for our family. And we're pretty close knit crew, and losing her was I was like, oh my God, are we serious? So, and it happened in February, so it was just ahead of the shutdown and all the other things that took place last year. And I just remember my husband looking at me saying, this too shall pass. So, we're going to have to, stay focused. We stay prayerful, and we just going to have to keep moving along. He said, we're a movement. We're not a monument. So we're not going to be able to just stand here and just, oh my God, what's going on, the pandemic and all these other things. He said, we're going to have to move, and we just kind of move with God and move in faith. So it was able to really help sustain us. And then, as far as like my real estate and ministry, so we had to come up, of course, with a new way to do ministry, because, you can't congregate at church. So that was another thing, just kind of trying to figure out, oh my God, okay, so now we're going to be live streaming. Now we're going to be on, this is what the service is going to be. And, you deal with kind of technical difficulties and different things with that. So that was something in and of itself.
Yes. You have to pivot. As LB said, you have to pivot.
Had to pivot, and it's like, okay, shift. So we're gonna have to make it happen, at any cost. And and it just kind of, and then the kids were home, with the homeschool, and everybody got their own thing going on, and it's like, I still got this business over here to run, and I wanted it to flourish. I wanted to still be prosperous, and it's like, okay, how do you? And just kind of snapping myself back into shape. So it was just so much going on, and my husband and I, but we just kind of grew close. I mean, we just kind of hung in there. We got a chance to do things that we hadn't done. I was getting up, cooking breakfast, running to the grocery store every 5 minutes and cooking all these meals. I said, I don't know if I'm loving this or not, all this cooking.
I know that's right.
But it was good. The Lord is good, and we made it through. We made it through.
I mean, and it could be very overwhelming.
Yes.
When COVID first happened, and you're thinking about all of these things, but through my experience, it was a blessing.
Oh yeah, in a lot of ways.
In so many ways, it was a blessing. So I'm just grateful. So like you pivot and you make adjustments, and as my friend said, this is not a monument, it's a movement. And so we got to keep moving. So yes. So thank you, hubby.
Running too, kind of, I like to run. So I started going up to the mall, running 4, 5, 6 miles a day. So that was another thing, another outlet for me. Time to kind of.
Yes. And I'm so glad you mentioned that, because before I started working full time in 2019, I was doing a minimum of a mile a day, and I have not been committed like I have been. And so it was really a great time during COVID to get back focused. And that part of my life, I didn't do so well in, but I'm recommitting myself to that. And so that's equally as important, the health aspect of it, the eating, the exercise, all of that. So thank you for bringing that up. Yes. So Tangi, would you share with us what has sustained you, as you're living this purpose life of teaching and then having the business to educate parents? What has sustained you, and particularly during COVID, and how has it affected relationships? Because sometimes when we're focused on our purpose, we're not able to hang out with our girlfriend, or we're not able to make the phone calls that we used to make, and so, people start looking side eye, like, what's wrong with her? But we're focused on our purpose, so we don't have as much time. So what has that been like for you?
I think that, I don't know if you knew this, but I remember I had medical issues in 2000, remember? And I remember I was on my way to Shenita's house on New Year's Eve. Remember that, Shenita?
I do.
I ended up at the Kaiser, and ended up at home from December 30th to March, right before COVID. I remember going back to work probably for 1 week, and then COVID happened. So I was already pivoting and changing my mindset about what I wanted for my life, because that was the second time in 6 months I had been in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And I was telling myself something has to change. And I went within myself trying to figure out what I needed to change about my life. And I made a decision to leave high school after 6 years, even though I loved it to death. I decided to leave. But what came out of that was, that's when I decided I was going to start working with the parents to help educate them, because some of the issues concerns of what troubled me in my heart and my spirit that would frustrate me so much was, we would have kids that had disabilities, ADD a lot of times, ADHD a lot of times. And when they had that, they would be very hyper and impulsive. And when they got 17, they would do things that was impulsive. Like Johnny has a fight with Michael. Michael would have an IEP because his mama said when he was 5 that he was impulsive. So his mama got an IEP. But Michael's mama, the other mother, did not have an IEP, but her child was just as impulsive. And they would have a fight. The child with the IEP would go back to school, but the other child would go home for 10 days. So you in this little thing, like, I can't tell her he has an IEP, and that's why. So I would be struggling all the time with parents because they didn't know the law. They didn't know the law. So I figured I need to start working with parents so they would know the business of education and how it works, and how things are there sometimes to protect parents or protect kids, and things are there to protect the school system. And they need to know the difference. So I started pivoting about what I wanted for myself and what would help parents. So I moved from kids to what would help parents. I need to get parents more involved in what's going on. So because it was a struggle for 6 years, and I said I got to do something to educate parents on this. So I started pivoting. Was my friendships, people knew because I had been sick twice, because I had already withdrawn and went into myself already, because I had been sick twice, and it was just, it was just a natural thing. Like, she's dealing with her medical issues, so I understand that she's not, she's not there
available. She's not available.
Talk to me every day. So I just started trying to figure out what to do about this business, and started working with the business, and basically started giving information away for free. Because I remember a long time ago, a pastor told me, James Swanson said, if you love what you do, the money will come. So I haven't focused on money. I give away information for free. So that's what I've been doing. And I'm going to develop it more because it just started. And that's my plan. I haven't, so I figured it's something I do easily. I could do it at the mall. I mean, it's just something my sister tells me all the time, you just always talking about them kids. I don't have kids of my own. That's the other thing. I don't have kids of my own. And she tells me, you always talking about them kids and blah, 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 blah. And so it's just something I do.
So what has really sustained you is the ability to be able to help the children and help the parents on this journey.
Yes.
So your purpose of helping them and educating them and getting them on the right path has truly sustained you.
Yep, I know a few months ago, one of my kids, he got a job at the Burger King. And I called his mom. I said, let me tell you now, he's not going to be able to. They gave him, he's a manager. I said, nah, I'm going to tell you now, he needs a checklist. He's not going to be able to, somebody's not going to be able to tell him to do 10 things and he remembers all 10. He's going to need a notebook. Remember, we got to use those strategies. So those kinds of things is what, I try to help people understand about their children. Because a lot of times they don't know how to help their kids. So
and I certainly appreciate this area because my bonus son, Winston's oldest son, was special needs. And you have to have advocates and people who understand, what they're dealing with. So I thank you for your sacrifice to work with that population. So thank you. And Twin, would you share with us?
Absolutely. I think I'm actually going to answer the question in reverse. You asked how it impacted our relationships. And I have to say that 2020, the relationship that it impacted the most for me was mine with myself. 2020 was a time of introspection for me. Everything was forcefully shut down. The mandates, you had to spend time at home. You had to spend time alone. And so we no longer had the excuse to be busy. Sometimes we're busy to avoid dealing with ourselves and our challenges and the things that we need to focus on. So the fact that my schedule cleared itself
Yes.
gave me time to really sit down with me and figure out who I was at this point in my life, what I wanted, what was important for me, and which direction I wanted to move in. And I realized during that time that a lot of the things that I was doing, there was a time when I was in love with them and I was passionate about them, but they became habits. They were no longer in alignment with who I was now. So 2020 really gave me the opportunity to do some internal housekeeping and cleaning. It gave me the opportunity to let go of things that were no longer serving me. It gave me the opportunity to be honest about who I was and what I wanted. And that in turn caused other relationships to disappear and dissipate and go their separate ways. So 2020 for me was very reinvigorating, and it re-inspired me because it allowed me to release old things. And it also gave me the opportunity to refocus on who I was now and how I wanted to live out the rest of my days here. 2020 also made me very aware of our mortality. Time is not promised. You don't have forever to do the things that are important to you. So it re-inspired me. It re-inspired me to clear my plate of unnecessary clutter. It re-inspired me to let go of things that were just busy work and busy activities and things that were filling my schedule. And it forced me to narrow down and laser focus on what brought me joy, what makes me happy, what's important to me. And from that place, I've been able to pivot, which was the key word of last year, and reinvent myself, rebrand my business, and just really come out of it reinvigorated, re-inspired, refocused, and super excited about taking this newfound energy and sharing it with all of my current clients, with my family, and hopefully inspire others to do some of that same type of internal housekeeping so that they can streamline their lives and live a more intentional, purposeful life going forward.
Yes, that is on point right there. That you're right. 2020 forced us to take a look at ourselves. You didn't have a choice.
You did
And do
not.
some soul searching and some changing. So
Yes.
I'm grateful. So I can only imagine the energy you have now. You already had a barrel of energy before COVID. So I'm just grateful that I get to glean from some of that. So
Thank you. I can tell you, yes, I'm super fired up. I got so many ideas. I cannot wait to launch. I'm be glad when they let us outdoors full time.
Yes. Yes. And last but certainly not least, Ms. Tomiko, would you share with us, how have you sustained yourself, the business? What has it been affected from you being focused on your purpose? What has that been like for you?
So the thing that sustained me the most, and Netflix, for one, right? It kept me sane. I'm gonna be honest. I'm like being real. Netflix. I think I watch every single movie on Netflix. I'm like so excited when new stuff comes out. Another thing, being transparent. The fact that I am a member of a wine club and I got my wine shipment every month.
Yes.
So now let me pull it together and get serious for this interview. The other things that sustained me was my faith. Through my faith, that's the thing. That's where you find your peace. That's where you find your joy. That's where you find your purpose. And so that's the thing that really, really sustained me. And then when I think about my family, for me, it brought us closer together. The ability to get on virtual time with my family. Most of my family are in Buffalo, New York. So being able to see everyone and have these weekly conversations with them over Zoom, those were the things that sustained me. But it brought me and my husband closer together because we were, at this point, we're in the house together all day, every day. So for some people, it's either it ruined your relationship or it brought you closer together. And it really brought us closer together. We realized that there were so many things that we had in common that we didn't even realize from before, because we would literally sit down and just talk and just spend time together. And when it comes to business, sometimes we're busy. I think someone else said that you get busy just doing busy work. You're not really doing anything. And so being on lockdown really allowed me to focus on some things that I had been thinking about for a long time. And so in the middle of a pandemic, I launched Living the Empowered Life podcast. My husband used to be in radio, so he was my podcast producer, so that allowed us to work together. And he was excited to be a part of that production. And then, you know this, Shenita, I traveled for years, traveling the country, teaching as a master life coach trainer for other companies. And I helped write those curriculums and stuff. But I was like, I need to do this for myself. I had been saying it for years. And finally, I sat down, I wrote my curriculum and launched it during the pandemic. And I'm not bragging or anything, but literally within 3 months, I had literally launched a 6-figure business program in 6 months in the middle of a pandemic. Like, I was nervous. I had no idea what was going to happen. But this is not to brag or anything. It's just like, if there's something that you want to do, go ahead and do it, because people are waiting on you. They're waiting on your gift, your expertise. Like, people were waiting for that. So that's how it really impacted me. I don't have anything negative really to say, besides the fact that I'm an extrovert. I love to be around people. I love to hug people. I love to crack up and just have a good time. Right. So not being able to do that and be around people, there were times when I did feel the depression and things like that kicking in. But again, you know, going back to my faith is what really sustained me through the whole thing.
That's awesome. And, you know, when you think about the pandemic and people who come out with stories of success, you know, purpose. It goes back to purpose. You are walking in your purpose. When we're walking in our purpose, those are manifestations of it. Those are benefits of it. And so I'm hoping Tangi will connect with you at some point, Tomiko.
When she was talking, I was like, we got to get together, honey. We're going to get you paid off of this. Right.
And so that's exactly what I was thinking. You know, like,
oh yeah, we can put together a program.
Exactly. So I have a comment from someone, a male. He said, for a Black man, these are highly introspective viewpoints from these ladies. Brothers, listen. So he's telling them, listen. So that's great. So thank you, Mr. Hobbs, for listening and commenting. And someone posted, there's hope. So there's hope. And I'm not sure if she was referring to the children, but whatever it is, there's hope for all of us. In this world, because of people like you who are walking in your purpose. And as you said, if you're walking in your purpose, someone is waiting for you to do that so that you can save them.
Yes.
So I'm grateful that we are all finding our purpose in life and we're moving forward, even as challenging as it can be. I didn't want to start a podcast in my living room, but God said, start the podcast. Your book speaks to the pandemic. Your book speaks to what's happening to people. Get started. Don't worry about where. All of that will fix itself at some point. And so sometimes it's not the perfect situation or the perfect environment. Just be obedient. So the last question before we close out is, what advice would you ladies give someone who hasn't yet found their purpose? If you had 30 seconds to share with them in the audience today or in the future, what would you say to them? If they haven't yet found their purpose, what would you say to them to help them find their purpose in life? And we'll go Twin Spirit.
Okay, so I think what I would say is, don't worry about finding your purpose. Keep living, keep giving, keep doing, keep being, and your purpose will show up for you. I think we spend a lot of time searching for this perfect idea about why we're here, but that changes as we grow and change. So I would say just live authentically, live genuinely, give freely. Don't be afraid. Don't let fear stop you from getting outside of your comfort zones, because outside of your comfort zone is where you will find purpose. And that would be my advice.
I love it. Thank you. Don't fear, because fear will hold us back and we won't move. So thank you. You fearless woman. So next, Octavia, will you share with us, what advice would you share with someone who is trying to figure it out? They're not yet walking in their purpose and they don't know what it might be. What would you say to them?
Well, I would tell someone, first of all, what is it that you are burdened by? What is it that you're passionate about? What is it that just burns your heart every time you experience it or you see it or you think about it? Those are the things that that might be something you need to start to explore. And when you begin to feel that way, sometimes I feel like you should be able to reach out to somebody, some counsel, or talk to somebody to assist you and help you kind of develop in what it is that you have this burden in your heart for. And another thing I would tell them is to make sure you keep hold of your confidence. Because sometimes people feel so deflated. I don't know what I'm supposed to do, and just kind of start to have anxiety or feeling inadequate about different things, not understanding, not fully knowing what their purpose is. But hold on to your confidence. If you don't cast your confidence away, there's a great reward. And so you're going to find that area that God is trying to get you to, or find that path and that lane that He is trying to get you to. And it's because it's on the inside of all of us. It's that thing that you're burdened with. So that's what I would tell someone.
Awesome. That confidence is so important.
It is important.
So
oh my
important. And people mistake confidence for arrogance. And as Tomiko was saying, I'm not bragging. We're just sharing the truth. It's not about, bragging or any of that. It's sharing the truth. And what you experience is the truth. So thank you, Octavia. Tangi, would you share with us, if you had 30 seconds to share with someone who is trying to find their purpose, their path in life, those 30 seconds, what would you say to them?
I would tell them to walk by faith and not by sight, and just continue to do that all their lives, and their purpose will fall in their laps. That's just the way it happens. There's nothing to go. There's no class to go to, nobody to talk to. Just live, like she said, live, walk by faith and not by sight.
Because when a lot of times you have to walk by faith because you can't see it in the natural. So you just have to trust that whatever it is going to manifest. And
That's right.
Sometimes when that manifestation may happen, it could be 4 years, could be 4 months, could 20 years. Look, it took me, all these years to be where I am right now. And I could share some things, but I won't, because tonight is about you guys, not me. But, I'm just grateful for my faith. So thank you for that.
Because it's a combination of a bunch of experiences. It's not one thing. It's a combination of a whole bunch of stuff in years. It is what it is. It's just, it's not something you can go pick up. So
I love it. Thank you. Tomiko, what would you give them?
So, we oftentimes hear people say, I need to find my purpose. And I don't think a purpose can be found. It's not like it's not under the pillow. It's not over here. Like we're looking everywhere, but we're not looking in here, right? So I believe that everything that we need is already inside of us. So I would tell them to look within. Look within. Everything that you need is already inside of you. And then the other thing is, your purpose is more like something that I think you tap into. So think about like what triggers your life dream. Like, what are you passionate about? Someone else mentioned that. What is it that you're passionate about? If there was something that you can change in the world, how you hear people say, somebody needs to do something about that situation. Well, no, not somebody. Maybe you're that somebody. So whatever that thing is that you're passionate about, that's probably it. But I would definitely say to look within.
Yes, definitely search within, because tap into your destiny. My friend Jay is a poet and he talks about that. Let's tap into our destiny. So yes, it's within us. And so thank you for tapping into your destiny. If you had not tapped into your destiny, and we think about this, all of us would not have met. Okay. So there's a reason why we tap into it and walk in it. It connects the dots, and somebody's waiting on us. So last but certainly not least, LB, if you had that 30 seconds to share with someone who is trying to find their purpose, what would that look like? What would you say?
Well, I would tell them that your purpose is not a destination, it's a journey. And you're probably already on the path to your purpose. I don't know if you're looking for, fireworks. Are you looking for, explosive? Like, what are you looking for to determine that this is your purpose? Who knew that LB, the classroom teacher, was living her purpose? Because I'm still a teacher, the curriculum just changed. So it's really understanding that you are on that path to purpose. Start just paying attention, get in tune to, Tomiko said that, really getting in tune to what's already inside of you and realize that you're on the journey of purpose. This purpose can change over the years. Like if my job is to teach, I'm teaching wives today. Who knows what I might be teaching tomorrow,
Might be teaching
really,
husbands.
Understand that it's not a destination, it's a journey.
Yes, I love it. It's a journey, and just continue on the journey until you reach your destiny, your purpose. So before we close out, and it really has to be really, really quick, I would like for you guys to share a quote, your favorite quote or favorite scripture, really quick. And we're going to go around, and we're going to start with LB. LB, can you share that really quick?
Yes, my favorite quote is Nelson Mandela. It always seems impossible until it's done. I say this every day after I do my 5-mile run.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Tomiko, what would that look like? Oops, sorry. Hold on. There we go. Oops. There we go.
Just talking. Be who you were created to be, and you will set the world on fire.
I love it. Authentic, genuine. Tangi?
My shepherd, I shall not want. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want.
I love it. That's it. You have to believe it. Octavia?
For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son.
I love it.
One of my favorites.
I love it. That sacrifice.
Yes.
Twin?
The secret of change is to focus all of your energy not on fighting the old, but on building the new.
I love it.
Love it.
And let me tell you, I am seeing a therapist, right? Because I never went to therapy after my husband passed. And so I'm currently seeing a therapist. And we were talking last week, and he said, we were talking about a situation. And he says, we cannot be in the ancient society in the present being. So if there's something in the past, we know that we can't fix it. We need to work on what's ahead, what's in the future. Don't spend your energy back there.
That's true.
Spend it moving forward.
Yes.
Moving forward. So I want to just thank you ladies for sharing your journey to your purpose, sharing snippets of your business, your hearts, your life, your story. I hope that it impacts the world in a mighty way. And I'm honored that you said yes as we continue to celebrate women this month, because you guys are amazing, phenomenal women. You guys rock. And so continue on this journey. And I'll see you guys at the top. Thank you.
Thank you.
And have a wonderful evening.
Awesome.
Thank you. So I hope you guys enjoyed that conversation with those amazing women about their purpose. And hopefully you will reach out to them to get to know them better, to find out closely what they offer. They're life coaches, they're authors, they're educators, they're singers, there's entrepreneurs. I mean, all of them are entrepreneurs in their own right. So please take advantage of this opportunity, whether you saw the show today or you see it 6 months from now. Take the time to get to know these amazing women. And again, we thank you for joining each and every week at 7 p.m. on Thursday nights. And we thank you for sharing this broadcast. We thank you for subscribing to Life with Shenita's YouTube channel. And remember that I love you, but God loves you most and he loves you best. You can also catch Life with Shenita on FAM Radio on Wednesdays on famradiostation.com on Wednesdays at 7. So thank you for journeying with me, and I hope that you find your path to purpose for yourself. Thank you all, and you have a wonderful evening.